Well, Jake here with another 3-mark tank review, this time featuring the Jagdpanzer IV, which of course in real life was a tank destroyer purposely built to supplement and even take the place of the Stug 3. But this one in game, as you see, I have the 88 mounted, which is definitely by far the best weapon to use. Actually never carried that in real life. It carried the L43, L48, and L70. But here in the game, either the L70 or the 88 L56 are the best choices. And as I noted, the 88 definitely provides a better punch as well as higher DPM. And that is the trademark of this vehicle. I'm showing you the actual DPM there of just a touch under 3,000. Now this is using regular equipment, as you see placed. I put vents in the special slot, a rammer, and I typically run binoculars because you are stationary a lot of the time taking up an overwatch position, but you could run optics. It does lower the view range down, and I will even show you that here. But that is an option because the gameplay of this definitely transitions from stationary tank destroyer to almost a mobile TD medium hybrid. The armor is decent on the upper plate, and if you get into good position, you actually can get some bounces off of this. And it has enough mobility, and in particular the traverse, to where it can play a little more aggressive when the need really arises. Crew skills, if you get to the point where you have a number of crew skills on this, which I've used crew books to train up this crew. Brothers in Arms, of course, if you have enough crew skills. Camo is number one if you're working on a new crew. Camo and vision, because this actually has decent view range. Showing the guns here, the 88 L56 is definitely my preferred weapon of choice. You could use the lower damage L70. It certainly is still a good gun. So that's is an easy grind. I mean, ideally, you would always have that at least unlocked through the Stug. So it's a very, very easy grind because both are capable. Now I'm going to showcase a game here that I had with my wife, and it is a pure tier 6 game here on Province. This is much more of a typical sit and shoot mode because there's not much I could actually do differently, as she's going to cross over and then I'm going to basically provide support fire. But this will allow me to go into what I like to do in these 3-mark tank reviews, is talk about my experiences with the vehicle rather than the gameplay directly. Again, the mobility to get into a key position, and I have spotted, and now I am reversing, and this is what you need to be able to do. Reverse out of trouble, and that's one thing you need to position yourself correctly for. The reverse speed is a little low. The traverse is good. As you can see, this is able to spin around and avoid being flanked, and where it's so low to the ground, as you've seen there, shots will sail over you. And the camouflage is so good, you actually will a lot of times outspot lights and mediums especially. You'll outspot them with your, if you mount up the binoculars like I have in vents, based off of the combination of view range and camouflage. Because that's what really goes into the whole who spots who first. It's not just on who has the best view range. Because one person could have really, really good view range, like say a tiger using binoculars and vents, and he's got his crew trained up in a whole set of vision skills. Well, he can still spot really well. I mean, my tiger with optics has near maxed out view range, but tiger doesn't have any camouflage value. The Jagdpanzer IV has a very good combination, and in late game situations you can actually play into that. And again, as you see, I'm repositioning quite well here and firing through the bush is going to get me spotted with that super chaffee down below. Again, that's a little bit of a bad play on me. I should have just reversed a little bit. But this can play the stealthy tank destroyer mode quite well. But this game's not going to actually feature it too much. But other games I have posted, and are a couple that I am going to post here on the channel, will showcase the mobility more. Because this thing is based off of the Panzer IV, so no, it's not E25 speed, but it has enough mobility to get around and follow the mediums. And that's kind of the key thing. It's a support vehicle. And it's, again, stealthy enough, mobile enough, and it has just enough armor to get a few bounces that you don't have to play as safe as you would, let's say, with a Nashorn. It's fellow tier 6 German tank destroyer. Nashorn is a long-range sniper, pure and simple. This, if you're looking for more of a ability to be flexible, this vehicle certainly has that capability. And again, as you're running it, this is a DPM-based vehicle. The Nashorn would have threaded the needle between those buildings a couple more times than this would. This has pretty good aim time and pretty reasonable accuracy, with a base of, I believe with this weapon, of .35. That's just on the edge. That's kind of like what most mediums will get. That's not necessarily what most tank destroyers will have. The Nashorn, of course, has better accuracy, velocity, and even better aim time. But this has such a nice combination of tank destroyer capability as well as medium mobility and flexibility that I have had. In the second go-around of me having this vehicle, I have had so many games that has allowed me to claw back. Like, we're down here. And again, I'm not gonna put this as this amazing game here. It's an ace level game by the end, and as you can see, the DPM just allows me to track them, shoot at them, even if you miss, get the next shot ready to go, and then finish them off. And I absolutely love weapons like this. That's like, say, this, the Nashorn, the Stug, the Panther. They suit me quite well because I don't care about low percentage shots. I will just fling a shell if I think it's going to hit at all. Like there, that was a half aim shot. But when you reload in just over 4 seconds and you're dealing plus 200 damage at tier 6, it can be pretty lethal. There's a lot of tier 10s that only have 3,000 DTM, and this has it at tier 6. So very nice for me personally. If you're more into a larger damage, that would be the SG-100 or SG-100Y. But I absolutely love the ability of this thing to get around and to deal out damage quickly over time. And again, there goes a Hellcat. This is your super Hellcat, but even the HE on the 88 is better than the L70. That's the 7.5 that's shared by the Stug, the E25, and a number of other German vehicles. There's a lot of reasons to run this gun over the L70. And the Alpha, like for instance, the Alpha on this, if you aren't already aware, every tank's tracks have hit points. You see, I was able to track the 45 TP with 1 hit. The L70 is going to take 2 hits because his track health is probably roughly around 200. And the game calculates if you're able to knock his track off based on the alpha damage of your gun. So if your gun has over 200, track comes off. If it's got under 200, you're going to have to hit it twice, and the first hit's just going to be a critical hit, and you're not going to see anything. It a lot of times won't even go through the track and deal damage, which is a lot of the whole complaints people have of, you know, hitting for 0 damage and only getting a crit. Well, that has a lot to do with track health, which is something that World of Tanks doesn't actually disclose, and you have to go to tanks.gg to find this out. And the skill for LTU had talked about this shouldn't be the case. You should have that information readily available, but in this 3-Mark tank review, it's something to note. Weapon of choice should be the 88, in my opinion. And as you can see, as I've been chatting about the vehicle and other things, slowly racking up a pretty respectable game here. And we're not done yet. We've definitely got it in hand at this point, but going back to the Jagdpanzer IV. Stealth, mobility, and DPM. If your gameplay revolves around any of that combination, this is definitely a vehicle that you'd enjoy. If you do not play to that, this is not a vehicle you would enjoy. My first time through this is the second time I bought it. Most people would know that I love German vehicles, so there's no way that I would sell them anymore. But first time, I actually had over 100 games with this in a 39% win rate when I was brand new to the game. And now it's one of my most played vehicles with a much improved win rate. And I've actually taken this to 100% mark excellence a couple times. You will need to carry some premium. As you can see here, even with premium, I only have a 50-50 chance of penetrating this Black Prince. So instead, I'm just trying to pin him in place. But it has 145 pen with AP and 194 with APCR. That would be the one thing to knock against it. But that is certainly a nice game there. So now we'll head over and I'll leave the results here, showing the ace of the high caliber, as well as the fact that here in a second I'll show that we had a good teammate in the T-3485M, and my wife there had a nice solid game in her KV-2. But to bring this to a conclusion, Jagdpanzer IV, stealthy, fairly mobile, extreme DPM, and still nice alpha for the tier. If you're looking for pure sniper, the Nashorn is better, but this plays with a little more flexibility, and that's the best thing I can leave it at. Hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.